Hi, it's Eleanor Curry with the Store Real Estate and the Curry Law Firm, and welcome back to the Commercial Lease Kickback, where every week we're taking on some of the challenges that are faced when it comes to signing a commercial lease and making sure that you sign an absolutely fabulous commercial lease that works for you not just now, but also in the future. And today we're taking a look at rent commencement dates. Now, there are tons of dates in your lease, and there are also tons of moving parts, but the rent commencement date is really the date that you begin to be responsible to pay your landlord their agreed upon rent at the given time frame. So it's really where you are now on the hook. You're outside of any abatement periods, you're outside of any build out allowance periods. You are now responsible for rent. And because there's so many moving parts, you really want to make sure that you plan very carefully, pay close attention to these dates, and are prepared that you are coordinating not just the date you have a liability, you're paying rent now, but also the date you begin to make money in your space, open for business, other things. So you want to be mindful of all these moving parts, and I have a couple of tips for you to make sure that you're doing your best to coordinate all these dates. The first one is to do your research. Yes, there are tons of moving parts, but none of this can completely be out of your hands. You can certainly pay attention to some time frames and add them in as you prepare for your lease to make sure that you're prepared and you're not just going off of the best case scenario kind of ideology. So a perfect example, let's say you have a build out allowance and you have planned for 3 months where there's no rent because you'll be building out of your space. You also want to plan for, let's say, architectural plans. How long does that take? You want to make sure you plan for getting your permit ready for the city. You don't want to just say, okay, my contractor says it'll take 3 weeks, and not pay attention to all the other things that go along with planning for and getting space built out. So you want to do your research and make sure you have a range of time frames and you're not just planning on best case scenarios, because if you know anything about the leasing process, best case usually doesn't happen. So you want to plan for best case scenario, worst case scenario, and all the things in between when it comes to setting a commencement date. The second thing is, after you take your time, do all this research, you want to make sure you really stick to that research. Apply it in your lease. Ask your landlord for these things. If you don't ask, you won't get. So make sure, one, that you're bringing the research that you've brought to the table, so it doesn't look like you're just asking for more time. It makes landlords nervous. You want to make sure you presented a holistic view of what your plans are, the investment that you're spending as far as time and money into the space, and you're both ready for the commencement date to begin. He has a happy tenant and you are prepared to pay your rent because you're getting the ball rolling on making some money. So do your research and apply it. Those are the first two tips. Even if you need to involve some project management software or to set up a really simple time frame expectation on Excel, this will take 2 weeks, this will take 4 weeks. Making sure that you have the understanding, but you're also applying it is really important. And the last thing is, if you are in the midst of negotiating your lease and you have the option for time frames, let's say you're going to say your rent commencement date is the earliest of, or is in between these dates, the date you receive your occupancy permit and 3 months from today. Always ask for the later of those 2 dates. Now, your landlord, of course, is going to ask for the earliest of those 2 dates, but you want to make sure you understand, again, the whole process. Occupancy permits are a great example, because often the city will make you responsible if there is a problem with any permitting from a previous tenant. So you want to allot time for the what ifs, the mishaps, and you want that written down and confirmed in your lease, not just in a verbal, informal understanding with your landlord. So that's today's commercial lease kickback. Stay tuned every week as we talk about some of the challenges that come with commercial leasing. And if you have any questions, comments, want to get in your input, make sure you email or you comment.